But if you have questions, feel free to unmute and ask. So we're just going to get started. I have one person live with me in the studio, my friend Gina. She's social distance yogaing with me. So if you hear me talking to somebody, it's because there's somebody here. I always have to mention that. So why don't we start with just coming into a nice comfortable seat. Just allow yourself to become very settled and rooted down for a few moments here. Right, we're going to make some connection with our breathing, with our bodies. Right, bringing the spine into a nice alignment with the crown of the head, just reaching up toward the ceiling and allowing your shoulders to relax down away from your ears. See if you can soften your face a bit. Right, forehead, eyes, eyebrows, jaw. Right, and just discovering the breath, what it's doing. Begin to notice as it flows in and out through the nose. Right, the weather's a bit cooler the last couple of days, so right, when you breathe in, just feeling that cool air come into the nose. On the exhale, feel the warmth leaving out through the nostrils. Noticing where you're holding on to any gripping or tension in the body, right? Even checking the belly. Sometimes, we tense the belly and we just kind of hold our knots there. So let go of the belly here a bit. Right? Maybe you grow the breath big enough that you bring the breath into the belly. Right? We had this conversation a couple weeks ago. We're not actually breathing into the belly, but we breathe in so deeply that the belly expands because the diaphragm is kind of moving things a bit. So, right, if that feels good to you this morning, you can take those nice, big, deep belly breaths. And on the exhales, get really empty. Right, you notice when you get empty, you feel the navel kind of draw back toward the spine. And we'll just do a few rounds of deep breathing. And as you breathe in, imagine bringing prana, that life force energy, into the body, nourishing all the cells. Right, sending it wherever the body needs it. Right, exhaling, letting go. Right, shedding anything that's not necessary right now. And on your next exhale, we can allow the breath just to go back to its natural rhythm, its natural pace. Right, and if you want to bring your hands to prayer in front of the heart, we can set an intention for our practice. So weekly, we've been setting a collective intention for the planet, for people that are suffering out there, that we can begin to heal. Right, and if you have a personal intention, feel free to kind of set that intention as well. We'll open with 3 vibrations of Om. So taking a nice big inhale. From here, let's slowly float our eyes open. Okay. And we're going to stay seated for a bit, but if you're on a block or a blanket, you may want to take that out. We're going to start with just a twist. Actually, we're going to start with a little bit of a flow and a twist. So we can just bring our arms out to our sides like this. Right? And nice slowly, take a nice big inhale and reach the arms up overhead. Right? And we'll stay here for a little bit. So try not to hike the shoulders up, but really feel like you're lifting up out of your hips. Nice big inhale here, and on the exhale, we're just going to turn to the right and take a twist. Right? And then we'll hold it here just for a breath or two. Right? And then inhale, we'll bring arms back up. Right? So you really need the core here to keep yourself lifted. Right? Exhale, we'll twist to the left. Right? And then we're just going to keep going a few times, right? Go at your own pace. Inhale up, exhale, twist. Right? Back and forth. Inhaling, exhaling. Right? Inhale. Right? And then the next time you inhale the arms up and exhale into your twist, we're going to hold the twist and maybe go a little bit deeper here. So using the hand that's behind you to really prop the spine up nice and tall and start to feel the twist, right? Low spine, middle spine, upper spine. Maybe even turn the head to look over your back shoulder. And then release, inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, we'll turn to the left, or the other side, sorry, I'm not sure which side everybody's on. And again, we're just gonna hold it and go a little bit deeper, right? So the hand behind you props up the spine, the hand that's on your knee you can kind of use as leverage to go a little bit deeper, right? Maybe look over the shoulder. And then let's come back to center. Okay, so let's warm up the neck a bit by taking some pendulum swings. So we're just going to start by dropping the ear to the shoulder, right? Rolling chin to chest, and then opposite ear to opposite shoulder. We'll go back and forth a few times. All right, so you want to keep the spine tall. You don't want to round here. Right, take your time as you go from side to side, and if there's any tightness along the way, feel free to pause and breathe a little bit. Try to work out any kinks you might have. Right, and then the next time your right ear is at your right shoulder, just take your right hand up and over, gently place it on the head, and extend your left arm out about 45 degrees. Right, so we don't want it too high. We want it right about here is where I feel, and you can kind of play around with the movement. We're just going to take little tiny circles, right? Not real big ones, just little tiny ones. Really try to breathe into, right, the side of your neck. Send the breath there. Let your head relax, right? This hand is here just to give a little extra weight. We're not really pulling or tugging or anything. Just gently placing the hand. Right, and then maybe take those circles around the opposite direction. Feel like you're reaching away from your neck or your head. The arm is reaching away. Right, and then releasing your left arm down, and we're going to slowly roll the head over to the other side. Right, and same thing, just bring your arm up and over, extend the opposite arm, take your circles. Right, and just breathe here. Right, taking your circles in the opposite direction. Release the hand down, and then we're just going to roll our chin back to the chest, right? And then gently lift the head up. Inhale the arms up overhead. Right, exhaling, bring the arms down, drop your chin to your chest, and if you want to interlace the hands behind the neck, right, again, we're just going to stretch the back of the neck here, letting the chin drop down. Right, the hands and arms are there just for a little extra weight. Right, and then this one, we'll lift the head, press the head into the hands into the head, and lift the chest. Really feeling it in the upper back. Right, and then bringing the spine more neutral, we're just going to bend over to the right. Right, back to center, and then over to the left. Right, come back to center, and then just release the hands down. We'll bring them to the knees. And let's take some seated circles, right? So just bringing the hands on the knees. If you want to start with like little circles going around, right? Sometimes it feels nice to start small and then start to go around a little bit bigger. And just warming up the hips. Right? And anything else you want to bring into it, shoulders sometimes can get in there. And then the next time you come to the front of the mat, just take them around a couple times in the opposite direction. Right, and then we'll come back to the center and just go ahead and sit up. Right, so let's take our left hand out to the side, right? And we're just gonna open up the shoulder. We'll go back and forth with our hand like this. Just kind of opening, closing. Hopefully you guys can see me okay. I see like little tiny squares on the iPad. That's all I really see. So, right. And then the next time your thumb is pointing down, you're just gonna bring that arm around behind you and try to place it as high up on your back as you can. You can use your right hand to kind of finagle it up there. So if you can get it there and just leave it there to stay by itself. And then we're going to bring our opposite arm out, right? And we're going to do the same thing. So we're just going to open and close the shoulder. We're just kind of warming up the shoulder joint. Right, this is good if you have a strap too, but you don't necessarily need a strap. If you're good with a strap, this is good. Sometimes it's harder to fumble around. The next time the palm is up, right, you're just going to lift the arm up toward the ceiling, bend at the elbow, right, and see if you can connect the hands. And then once you're here, if you can sneak your arm behind the head and kind of lean back with your head into your arm, right, and just breathe here. Right, for those of you that want to, you can come forward a bit. Right, and then slowly coming back up if you went forward, and then just gently releasing. Top arm first, and then I usually like to help my bottom arm out. And if you want to rotate the shoulders a little bit around, nice one is just bringing their hands to the tops of the shoulders and just kind of rolling them a few times, front and back. Right, and then we're just going to switch sides. So you notice one side is harder. This is my tougher side. This one doesn't want to go as well. We'll start by right arm out. Again, if you need to warm it up a bit, you can, back and forth. And by the way, if you can't reach your hand, you can always just like grab your shirt or something if you don't have a strap. It's totally fine, right? And then when you feel ready, when the thumb is pointing down, bring it around behind you. Place it, right, as high up on the back as you can so that it will stay by itself. And then we'll come out with the other arm. Right, and sometimes our movements are a little counterintuitive. This may be an example of that, but the next time the palm is up, you want to lift as high as you can up toward the ceiling, right? And then bend at the elbow, and that's going to give you length to try to find the hand, right? And again, try to work that arm behind the head and lean back. Right, lastly, coming forward if you want to come forward. Right, and then slowly come back up, and let's go ahead and release. And release the bottom arm. And again, we can take some rotations, maybe a few times forward, right, and a few times going back. And you can really kind of open up the chest when you come around like that. Really get, the shoulders are very mobile joints, right, but we want to keep them healthy and strong. So that being said, we're going to do a little bit of shoulder mobility exercises. But first, let's roll forward onto our knees. Right, so just rolling onto the knees. Right, we're gonna do some cat and cow, but we're gonna do them with our seat on our heels. Normally we do cat-cow from a tabletop, right? We're gonna start with our seat on our heels. You don't want the hands too far away from the body. You wanna keep them in a little bit. And it's just like regular cat-cow, right? We're gonna inhale and start to feel like you're gonna pull your chest through the arms, right? Really curve the back, curl the tailbone, look up. The only difference is we're keeping our seat on our heels, right? And then exhale, same thing. Press into the hands, around the spine, tuck the chin. Seat stays glued to the heels, right? So this cat and cow is gonna really more or less target the thoracic spine, right? Inhale forward. Exhaling back, just taking a few movements. And if you want to stay a bit in one way or the other, feel free. Right, on your next exhale, go ahead and round into your cat pose. Right, and then just go ahead and release, and we'll come into tabletop. Right, and then from tabletop, we're going to make our way onto our bellies, but try to walk the hands forward, right? So tabletop, the wrists are under the shoulders. We're going to walk them forward a little bit, and then just kind of shift forward. See if you can lower down by sending your elbows back behind you. Nice and slowly. Right, all the way to the floor. Once you're down on the mat, just go ahead and relax for a breath here. Right, you can rest on your cheek. And I hope I'm in the frame. Can you guys, you can't answer me because, okay, yes? Yes, I got a thumbs up. What's that? I got a thumbs up from them. Okay, so this exercise is a little, it's kind of like a cobra type thing. Actually, let's start with a little bit of warm up with cobra. That's going to help us a bit. So we're going to bring our hands out to the sides, right? So instead of bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, we're going to tent the fingers and bring them out wide, right, off the mat. Really press the tops of your feet into the floor. Feel your quadriceps press down. Feel your pubic bone press down. We're going to drag the nose forward, drop the chin, and look forward, right? And then we're going to start to peel ourselves. Peel the chest up off the floor, right? Keep the hips down. Come up as high as you want to go. Try to relax the shoulders, and then slowly come back down. Keep the legs fired up, right? We'll do that 2 more times. So if you need to readjust your hands, there's really no correct position. It's just whatever feels right for you. We're going to roll up again. And then slowly roll down. Right, and then one last time, just coming up. Right, really engage the muscles in the legs. Tuck the tailbone under so the pelvis is tilted. Right, lifting up. And then slowly lower down. And again, just go ahead and rest on your cheek, maybe the opposite cheek that you were on last time. If you want to bend the knees, you can windshield wiper the legs from side to side a little bit. It feels kind of good to loosen up the low back. Maybe even take a little circles around. going one way and then the other. Right, and then we'll bring ourselves back to center. Legs are long on the mat. Right, and from here we're going to bring our hands underneath the shoulders. Right, so like typical cobra. Again, we're going to really press the legs into the mat. We're going to tuck our tail and press the pubic bone down. Right, and we're going to lift up into like a cobra here. So the chest lifts up off of the floor. Right, and then from here we're going to lift the hands. Right, reach forward. And just keep ourselves lifted here, right? And then come back with the hands underneath the shoulders and slowly lower down. Right, take a little breath. Go ahead. Inhale, lift the chest, right? Reach the arms forward, holding here. Right, back underneath the shoulders and lower down. Right, one more time when you're ready. Inhale, up. Right, reach forward. Hands come back underneath the shoulders and lower down, right? And then go ahead and rest on the opposite cheek again and just, again, bend the knees. Go ahead and windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Right, we'll do one last one here on our belly. These are not my favorite exercises, but I know that they're good for us. Right? They're not always fun. They really aren't. But they're so beneficial. Right? So we're going to do one last one here on the belly. So legs are long, right? Forehead to the mat. This time we're going to bring our arms, instead of reaching them in front of us, we're going to reach them kind of behind us, sort of like airplane arms. So they're a little bit like angled out to the side. Right? This is our Shalabhasana. So we're going to lift our chest, right? And lift the legs, and then lift the arms. Right? And try to breathe here. You don't have to strain the neck. You can just look at maybe where your mat meets the floor. For those of you that want to go a little further, you can reach back, interlace the fingers, right? And climb up just a little bit higher. Right? But keep breathing. My teacher would say, try to bring your thighs off the floor. And I'd be like, are you kidding me? That's so hard. Right? It is really hard, but this is great for the back. Right, and then from here, let's slowly just let everything go. Come back to the floor, resting on the opposite cheek. Right, maybe bend the knees one last time. We'll windshield back and forth. Right, and then from here, let's bring the knees together. Right, so just kind of work the knees together, and then with the hands underneath the shoulders, start to press back. And we'll just send our seat back toward the heels. So we'll come into like embryo pose, balasana. So just, right, instead of keeping the legs wide. And then just reach the arms behind you, like you're gonna reach toward your heels. Let your shoulders just relax alongside your knees. If you wanna give yourself a little forehead massage here, you just make circles on your mat. I know it's allergy season. Some people are suffering with, seasonal allergies and allergy headaches and all that stuff. It's no fun. Right, so just taking a breath or two here in our child's pose. And then from here, let's press up a little bit, bring the knees a bit wider. Right, and we'll walk it out into wide-legged child's pose. So this is also really great for the shoulders. Seat is back toward the heels, and just reach the arms forward. Let the chest melt down. Let the torso rest between the thighs, and just breathing here. Right, this is our pose of surrender. Child's pose is a very grounding pose. If you ever need to get grounded or feel grounded, come into this pose for a bit and just breathe deeply. Right, Okay, from here, let's stay right where we are. Just go ahead and bring your palms together if you like. Bend at the elbows and bring your hands to the back of your neck, right? So the elbows are bent. If you have room to kind of walk the shoulders a little bit further, you can. And just melt the heart. And then we'll reach the arms forward and start walking the hands back. I heard a beep in my earbud. Is everything still cool? Just thumbs up if everything's still cool. You guys can hear me okay? Okay. It beeped, I don't know. All right, so while we're here, we're gonna stretch the back of the shoulder. Just go ahead and inhale, right, left or right arm, doesn't matter. Open up nice and wide, and then exhale. We're just gonna thread that arm through, gently landing on the shoulder, right? The other arm can do whatever it likes. If you want to reach it forward or wrap it around your low back, right? Or just keep it by your face. Slowly pressing up, and then we'll go the other way. So opposite arm, inhale, open up, exhale, thread it through. Just breathing here. Right, let's come back to center. Right, and then from here we're going to come into that tiptoe pose. So we're just going to tuck the toes under. Right, our feet are actually right where we want them to be. We're going to tuck the toes under and start to walk the hands back and see if you can balance here. Right, so the knees are out wide. If you can, maybe place your hands on the knees. Right, and if that's okay, bring the hands to in front of the heart. Right, and then we're going to reach the arms up overhead. See if you can balance there. Right, and then from here, it's kind of tricky. We're going to see if we can stand up. Right, so using the strength of the legs, just bring yourself all the way up. Right, once you're here, just take a little back bend. Go ahead and lift the heart, reach back. Right, and then exhale, just bringing the hands to prayer in front of the heart. And then we'll go ahead and shake it out a little bit. So we'll do a little bit of standing. All right, so let's start with your Anandasana, right? Eagle pose. So we're going to cross our right foot over the left foot, right? It doesn't have to be in the air; it can just cross over. I don't know if you guys can see my toes, but my toes are on the floor. And then bring the arms out like this, right? So my right leg is crossed over my left leg. My right arm is going to come under my left arm, and I'm just going to grab my shoulders, right? Just kind of give myself a hug. And if you can, right, see if you can wiggle your hands back a little bit. Give yourself a really tight hug here, right? We can't hug other people right now, so we have to hug ourselves, right? And if that feels good, maybe you want to bend that standing leg and lift your right foot off the floor. Right, sit a little bit deeper. Right? If you want to take eagle arms, you can release the shoulders, keep the arms crossed, and see if you can grab your left thumb with your right hand. Right? And then from here, there's any variation you want to take. If you want to lift the elbows a little bit, maybe you want to bend forward a little bit. Maybe you want to try to wrap the toes of your right foot around the leg, which sometimes in the morning, that's not a great idea. For me right now, it's not. And then we'll go ahead and release, right? Just open the arms, keep the leg in the air, and let go. Right, so we're gonna do a little bit more with eagle arms in our next pose, but let's finish, let's do this on the other side, right? So left leg is gonna cross over the right, arms come out to the sides, right? Left leg is over, left arm is gonna swoop under the right arm. Give yourself a hug. See if you can really grab onto the shoulders here. Try to feel the shoulder blades kind of move down the back a bit. Right, if you want to take eagle arms, or if you want to keep the hands on the shoulders, again, if you want to bend the standing leg a bit, lift your foot up off the floor. Right, any modification or variation of this? Right, and then we'll slowly unravel. So unravel the arms, unravel the leg, and release. Right, so the next one we're going to combine two poses. We're going to combine tree pose and eagle pose at the same time. So we're going to start by standing on the left leg, right, and you can come into your tree pose. So now I'm either doing a kickstand with my right foot kind of propped up against my ankle, or bringing my foot on the inside of my shin, right, or maybe I'm going to bring my foot on the inside of my thigh. So it's wherever feels comfortable. And so a lot of times clothing is a factor, right? If you have slippery clothes on, your leg's going to slip all over the place. And then we're going to bring the arms out to the sides. Right arm is going to come under the left, and we're going to take our eagle. So if you can't grab the thumb, just go ahead and bring your hands to the shoulders. Right? We're just going to hold it here. Right, so we have a tree and an eagle. We have an eagle sitting in our tree. Just find something to stare at that's not moving, that you can fix your gaze on to help you find that steadiness. Right? Maybe you want to lift the elbows a little bit if you have room to go a little further. Right? Keep that knee open, tracking out. You want to open up the hip. And then from here, we're just going to release. So the eagle, right, flies out of the tree, and we release, and then shake it out. Right? And we'll switch sides. So coming into whatever variation feels comfortable for you over here. Right, try to do it the same as you did on the other side, unless you have something that's, like an injury or something that's preventing you. Right, so last time we did right arm on the left, this time we're going to do left arm or under right. Oh, not sure which we did. Maybe we do right arm under left this time. Yeah, and then just holding here. So some things to help you balance and really spread the toes. Right, lift up on the kneecap of the standing leg, right, and then tuck your tail under a little bit, really engage the pelvic area and the core. Stand up nice and tall, feel your shoulders stack over the hips, and you want to feel your crown of your head is straight up. You can even tuck your chin a little bit. Right, all these little micro adjustments actually help us bring our spine into alignment and make balancing a little bit easier. Right, and then from here, again, we're just going to release the arms, right? Let the eagle fly away and release the leg. Right, and then just shake it out a bit. Let's take the legs a little bit wider, and we're just going to let the arms flop from side to side. So I'm kind of like recovering from a torn rotator cuff. And this is the best my shoulder has felt in a long time, but I will be coming and teaching with more shoulder strengthening stuff because it's so important. I've been practicing for so long, and to actually suffer from something like that, it's like, how did this happen? But it happens, right? We overuse joints and stuff. All right, and then slowly just kind of winding it down, right? Let us come into some forward foldings. We haven't done a lot of hamstring stuff yet this morning. So if you have blocks, that's a really wonderful thing. If you don't have blocks, it's okay. If you have a block, I would just place it on the floor, like in front of you for now. And from here, let's just take a nice big inhale. We'll reach the arms overhead. right? And then when we come forward, bring the arms out. We're gonna bend the knees, right? And start to like kind of swan dive over the legs. So when you come to, your hands come to the floor, your torso is like actually resting on your thighs here, right? Feet are about a hip's width distance, maybe even a little bit wider if you want to bring them out a little bit wider, right? So right now we don't really need the block, but it's there. We're just gonna grab opposite elbows, either that or interlace the arms, and just take a little breather here in a ragdoll, right? So the feet are grounded down, the legs are strong, upper body is just kind of hanging, right? It's nice and loose, hanging over the lower body, right? Just stay here for a minute and just feel, right, that nice stretch from the base of the spine out through the crown. Let your head be heavy, let your neck be heavy, let the arms be heavy, and just take a few breaths, right? If it feels good to kind of sway a little bit from side to side, shake your head a little bit, go for it. And then let's go ahead and release the arms. And then we're just gonna find our block or find the floor, right? And straighten the legs a bit. From here, let's bring our right foot behind the left. So my right foot is gonna cross behind my left foot, and I'm gonna take my block and pick it up and place it over on the left, right? So my right foot is to the left and both my hands are to the left. You can bend both knees as much as you need to. All right, this is a pretty good stretch here. And then we're gonna come back, so we'll bring our right foot alongside the left, and we'll go the other way. So this time, left foot is gonna come behind the right, over to the right side of my mat, and then I'm gonna just bring my hands over to the right side of the mat. So if you don't have a block, like sometimes a book works or something, you can just it's helpful to bring the floor closer to you. Right, and then we'll come back to center. So this time, if you have a block, you're gonna place it right underneath the face. We're gonna bring our right hand to the block and deeply bend your right knee. So left leg, ideally you want that straight. You're gonna bend your right knee very deeply, and then we're gonna open up, circling that left arm out and up toward the ceiling, right? You feel a nice stretch along the outside of your left leg. You wanna lean into that foot. Right, the head, I'm looking up at my hand, but you can keep your head neutral, or you can actually look down at your right hand, right? And then we'll switch sides. So left hand comes to the block, right? Deeply bend that left knee. Put a really deep bend in it. Try to straighten that right leg if you can. We're gonna circle the right arm out and up toward the ceiling, right? And then again, kind of lean into that right leg, that right foot. You wanna shift your weight into the right leg. Right, so it's a nice twist, but it's a really great stretch too for the outer right leg. Right, and then we'll come back to center. Right, and then from here, just go ahead and come up to stand. So you can come up however you like. Sometimes in the morning, a gentle way to come up is just bring your hands to your knees and kind of help yourself up, especially if you have low back stuff. And we're gonna bring our legs out wider on the mat like this. We're gonna come into a forward fold. So this is gonna be a great stretch for the back as well, right? So the legs are out wide. If you want, you can start with your hands on your hips, and we're just gonna start to come forward. Right, if you wanna work on some strength here, you can just bring your torso parallel with the floor and just kind of hold it, right? Something that would make it a little harder is to bring the arms out in front of you, right? That's an option here. You want to shift the weight into the heels, right? And then we'll just bring our hands to the floor, and then just go ahead and enjoy the forward fold here for a moment. So let your upper body just kind of hang, right? Again, if you want to take elbows, you can take a little bit of swaying from side to side. Right, allow things to loosen up a bit. If it's more comfortable, you can Kind of point your toes out and your heels in, whatever feels good. Right, and then we're going to take it into like a downward facing dog. So I hope that your space allows you to walk your hands forward. So my hands are coming off the mat, and I have the studio floor here out in front of me. I'm going to walk my hands forward, but I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to keep my hands and feet where they are, and I'm going to shift all of my weight back into my heels. Right, just like downward facing dog, I'm going to melt my heart and chest back. Right, and this is a really nice stretch for the back and the shoulders. Right, the whole spine, the hamstrings. Right, with no weight in the wrists at all. You can feel that the wrists just nice and light here. It's like the legs are taking all of the weight. Right, just breathing here. Really try to melt that space between the shoulder blades. Let your head relax. Okay, and then we're just gonna walk in from here. Right, and we're just, before we come up to stand, let's go ahead and walk our hands over to the right foot. Right, so any amount, you can use your block here if you want to bring your hands to your block and just kind of take a stretch over to the right. Some of you may be able to grab onto your leg somewhere, just kind of stretch your body. Right, so you feel definitely more intense as I come over to the right side. I'm getting a different stretch in my muscles than I was just in regular forward folding. And then coming over to the other side and stretching to the left. Right now I'm targeting those different muscles. It's like, how'd they get so tight? But they do. And then we'll come back to center. And then once you're centered, let's go ahead and bring the feet in quite a bit actually. So maybe I would say give yourself about 3 feet distance between the feet. Heels in, toes pointing out. Bend your knees and then just bring your hands from the floor to your knees, right? So now we're kind of here. And you want to let your chest kind of, like a cow pose back, and just bring the shoulders back here. Right, and then we're just going to press up a little bit, and we're going to do another kind of shoulder thing. Just press into your right knee. Let your right shoulder dip in like this. Sometimes this feels really good. And then we'll switch sides. So pressing left knee away, let your left shoulder. Right, and then just one more time on each side. Going right shoulder. Right, and then left. Right, come back, and then we'll just come up to stand from here. Right? And you know what, while we're here, let's just do one more pose, because we'll bring the feet out wide again, one more time, so feet are out wide, and just go ahead and point your right toes forward, and keep the left toes where they are. And then from here, bring the arms out like this, like warrior arms, and then send your hips back. Right, reach towards your right toes, and then wherever your hand lands, we'll come into Trikonasana. Right, triangle pose. If you have a block, you can use a block, but I'm just using my leg. Right, and I'm really stretching the hips. So we did the outer part of the leg, now we're getting a little bit higher in the hip. And again, the head can be looking up, neutral, or just looking down. So you want to try to tuck your right seat under, right? So I'm not doing one of these, right? If you guys can see, I'm not this, but I'm in alignment. Like Gina says, fitting your bagel. What did you say? Your
bagel in the toaster.
Put your bagel in the toaster. We're bagels, right? We don't want to burn it, so we got to keep our seats in line, right? And then from here, if you want to bend the knee, go ahead and bend the knee, and then just come on up to stand. Right? We'll bring all the toes forward, and then we'll point the left toes out. Right? Same thing. Arms come out. So one of my teachers once taught me what is very helpful. When I send my hips back and reach forward, I would just be in such a hurry to come into triangle. They said, reach further than you think you can, right? So if I'm here, maybe I can go a little bit further and then drop the arm, reach the other arm up. And again, keep my my left seat kind of tucked under so my bagel doesn't burn. And again, anything that, anywhere you want to keep the head here. And this is a really great stretch. Feels good. Right, and then to come out, go ahead and bend and go easy, and then bring yourself back up. Right, and then from here we can, let's come back to the mat. We'll come to lie on our backs for a little while and do some nice stretching here. All right, so actually, is everyone on their back? Before we come to our backs, there is a stretch that I would like to do that's really nice twist. Sorry guys, I just made you work your core without lie down, get up, lie down, get up. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna bring our feet out like this in front. We've done this before, I'm pretty sure. And the hands come out like this behind you. We're gonna windshield wiper the knees from side to side. I love this twist. It's like one of my favorites. Just really targets the part of my low back that I can't seem to stretch any other way than this twist here. And I also feel my lower abdomen. Right, so the next time my knees go to the right, I'm going to turn to the right and then maybe keep on going and face the back of the mat. Right, but just kind of really check in with yourself and see how things are feeling before you go further. Right, some people like to come to the forearms. That's a little too far for me. So I'll stay right here. Right, and then just breathe into that twist. Right, and then slowly coming out. When you're ready, we'll go to the other side. So nice and easy, lift the knees up and over to the other side. Right, turn to the side and then to face the back of the mat. Right, taking it as far or as modified as you like for your body, whatever feels good in your body. Back to center. Right, now we can come onto our back. So, right, if you want a little bit more engagement of the core, you can come into your boat pose first before you come to your back. If you want to lift the legs, you can hold the back of the legs. Right, you can bring your arms parallel with the shins. You can straighten the legs. Right, or you can just come onto your back right away. Right, this way is a little just kind of getting a little bit more core in. And then from our boat, we start to lower, right, little by little, with control, right, bringing the body to the mat. Right, once you're all the way down, just taking a nice deep breath here, in through the nose. Right, if you want, you can sigh it out through the mouth. We'll do like 2 more of those, right? If you like, inhale, nice big inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. And then 1 more. All right, feel the tension leaving the body. Let's hug our knees into the chest. And just go ahead and rock a little from side to side. If you want to take some circles, bringing the hands to the tops of the knees, going around a few times. All right, just really ironing out any kinks in the low spine, the low back, around the sacrum. Maybe take the circles in the opposite direction. Right, and then bringing the knees back to center. From here, let's take our left hand across the right knee and just go ahead and guide our knees to the floor. We'll come into a twist. Right, so knees go to the left. Right arm reaches out to the right. If you want to look over your right hand or up at the ceiling. whatever feels most comfortable for you. Right? Both shoulders relaxed and in contact with the floor. Right? Neither one is floating up in air. You want to keep them both grounded down. Right? Some nice deep breaths here. Let's bring one knee up at a time, and we'll go the other way. So knees go to the right, upper body twists to the left. Relax the shoulders, relax the face and jaw, and just nice deep breaths here. Okay, and then one knee up at a time. Go ahead and give yourself one last hug. Any last stretches you want to take, maybe happy baby or anything that feels like it would complete your practice at this point before Shavasana. Right, definitely not rushed this morning, so take your time, and when you feel ready, you can settle into the relaxation. Allow yourself to become nice and comfortable and relaxed, right? Using whatever props you have at home to, right, assist you with being comfortable. Let your feet be flopped out to the sides. Let the arms be out wide, palms facing up. Right? Maybe tuck the shoulders under a little bit. Maybe even rock the head a little bit from side to side. Right? Allow yourself to become very heavy and very loose. we can start from here to make our way back to seated. And as you guys do that, I'm just going to chant a little bit on the harmonium. So take your time, please move slowly. Take 5 minutes if you want to come back to sit. Just Shanti, everyone. Thank you. Om Shanti. Thanks. It was good to see you guys. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good to see you, and good luck with teacher training things. Nice to see you, Randy. Tell your husband I said hello. Yeah. Oh, hi, Bob. Thanks, Deb, for coming. It's good to see you too. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, you guys have a great week, and we'll be here and check out some other classes on the schedule. So yeah, I'm glad that